Along the shores of the Mediterranean, a city of white towers bustles with life. Fishermen, merchants, and knights fill the stone-paved streets. Among them, two enigmatic men make their way purposefully toward Conrad of Montferrat, the newly chosen ruler of a Crusader kingdom. For months, Conrad has considered them fellow Christians, perhaps monks or loyal servants, backing his mission to reclaim Jerusalem from the Islamic Ayyubid dynasty. But suddenly, the men draw daggers and stab him repeatedly in the chest. Conrad collapses from his blood-soaked steed. Guards kill one of the attackers instantly and chase down the other, dragging him through the streets until he dies. Before his death, he reveals he is not a monk nor an agent of any church, but a killer sent by a shadowy force feared by all: the Order of Assassins. These feared assassins dwell in isolated fortresses high atop the cold peaks of the Persian and Syrian mountains. Within the walls of the mighty Alamut Castle, dark halls echo with ancient verses, while scouts are rigorously trained in espionage, disguise, and silent death. Legend claims they were once boys, abducted from nearby villages, drugged to remove fear, and shaped into perfect killers. Though they now haunt the highlands, they are not originally of the mountains. A century earlier, they were cast out of Egypt's deserts, where they had believed that a man named Nizar was chosen by Allah to lead Islam as Caliph of the Fatimid dynasty. Nizar's destiny ended in tragedy. He was buried alive by rivals. His loyalists, followers of the Ismaili sect of Shia Islam, became known as the Nizaris. Stripped of power and inheritance, they retreated northward, building a hidden network of castles under the spiritual guidance of an imam. From these strongholds, they spread their teachings to the lands below, but the surrounding Sunni and Shia powers saw them as dangerous heretics. The Abbasid Caliph of Baghdad sent armies to eliminate them, only to be assassinated. His son tried the same and met the same fate. For the assassins, fear is their most potent weapon. Lacking allies among both Crusaders and Muslim powers, the assassins embed spies in royal courts, striking when least expected. Their enemies learn quickly that an army need not be defeated if its leader is murdered. The Seljuk Sultan, intent on crushing the assassins, once awoke to find a dagger beside his bed with a message: "Had I wished you dead, that dagger would be in your chest." The Sultan abandoned his campaign immediately. The order did not need to win battles. They only needed to make kings tremble. But in the 13th century, a formidable new threat rose from the east: the expanding Khwarezmian Empire. Then, out of the steppes, a far greater power emerged: the Mongols. Fierce horsemen from the vast grasslands, they drank mare's milk and blood, and carried with them a vision of order under the Great Khan. Those who submitted could govern with freedom, keep their religions, and share in prosperity. But those who defied them were annihilated. The Khwarezmians chose defiance and paid in blood. The assassins watched from their mountain eyries as the Mongols laid waste to kingdoms. Ala ad-Din Muhammad II, the bold and devout imam of the assassins, senses growing hostility from the Mongols. In response, he seeks alliance with the Abbasid Caliph of Baghdad. Together in 1238, they dispatch a diplomatic mission westward. Muslim envoys travel through quiet villages, churches, and inns until they stand before the splendid thrones of the kings of France and England. With urgency, they warn, if the Mongols are not stopped, they will soon reach the shores of Christian Europe. They propose a Muslim-Christian alliance, but in the English court, the Bishop of Winchester scoffs, saying, "Let these dogs devour each other." The envoys are dismissed. In the years that follow, Mongol forces ravage the eastern reaches of Christendom. Years later, the Mongols storm across Eastern and Central Europe. In Azerbaijan, a Mongol general named Chagatai Ki returns to camp for the night. But assassins, disguised as prisoners, infiltrate the camp and murder him in his tent. This bold act by Aladdin's agents signals the beginning of direct resistance. Horses are readied, gold divided, and preparations made. The great Khan has ordered Hulagu, grandson of Genghis Khan, to destroy the assassins. He commands, "Be merciful to those who submit, but crush utterly those who resist, along with their kin and kind." Hulagu sends ahead a Christian Mongol general, Kitbuka, who captures several Nizari strongholds. Yet when he besieges Girdku fortress, assassins slip out under cover of darkness and slay 100 Mongol soldiers. As Kitbuka presses on, he ravages towns like Tun and Tabas. Thousands of Ismailis are slaughtered, their corpses piled high in fields. Daughters are spared only to be enslaved. Rumors swirl that Aladdin has descended into madness. His own son, Kara, deems resistance suicidal. But the order will not yield so easily. In faraway Karakoram, a Belgian monk arrives seeking audience with the great Khan. The Mongols, paranoid and tense, interrogate him harshly, fearing the presence of disguised assassins among his retinue. Some say hundreds of killers had infiltrated the Mongol steppe to assassinate the Khan. But whatever their plan, the order was faltering from within. In 1255, Aladdin is found murdered in his bed. Some suspect his own son gave the order. At 26, Kara claims the title of Imam and sends messages announcing his leadership to both friends and foes. As Hulagu advances into Persia, his armies darken the landscape. Legend says the mountains themselves trembled, and kings quaked at the sight. Though Kara offers to surrender, he refuses to meet the Mongols in person or to dismantle Alamut, the assassins' greatest fortress. Mongol scouts approach a distant hill and find an army of Nizaris standing defiant. Arrows and blades clash as the assassins repel the first Mongol wave. Hulagu's forces respond by burning nearby crops. But their true prize lies to the west. Maimun Diz, a castle carved into the red cliffside, where Kara is hiding. The defenders at Maimun Diz are the first to spot the thunderous arrival of Hulagu's army. 10,000 strong, with siege engines, Mongol warriors, and local allies. The siege begins. Day after day, Maimun Diz's ancient walls shudder under the relentless assault. Towers collapse, stones tumble, and yet the assassins hold their ground. They repel one Mongol charge, but they know no aid will come. Kara negotiates terms and descends the mountain to surrender. The Mongols swarm the fortress, only to face a final ambush by assassins who choose death over surrender. But they are too few. All defenders are slain. Maimun Diz falls. Hulagu forces Kara to send messages to every Nizari stronghold, ordering them to surrender or face total annihilation. Many obey and open their gates. A few resist. Kara journeys to the gates of Alamut, the holiest stronghold of the assassins, and begs them to yield. His plea is ignored. Within a day, Hulagu's army climbs the mountain paths and hurls stones against Alamut's strong walls. The assassins fight valiantly, raining down arrows and rocks. Though they can hold their fortress, they cannot win. After 3 days, a truce is negotiated. The defenders evacuate. Hulagu marvels at the fortress that sheltered the order for centuries, before ordering it razed to the ground, its libraries burned, its treasures looted. Only 2 castles, Lizar and Gerdku, continue to resist. Kara, now a tool of the Mongols, is rewarded with a young Mongol bride and escorted to meet the great Khan in Karakoram. Along the way, some of his own kin are handed over to avenge a past Mongol general's death. Meanwhile, the Mongols execute tens of thousands of Nizari followers. When Kara finally reaches the court, the great Khan receives him coldly. He is chastised for not yet destroying the last resisting fortresses. Stripped of all value, Kara is dismissed. On the journey home, Mongol officials lead Kara off the path. He and his followers are brutally beaten and executed. No trace of his line remains. He and his kin become mere whispers in history. Lisar falls. Gerdku holds out for years, but eventually succumbs. The Nizari Ismailis scatter. The order of assassins is no more, but their destruction is only the beginning. Ahead lies an even greater horror: the massacre of Baghdad.